Welcome to Trashmagination, a podcast about reimagining trash. I'm Carla Brown. When I was growing up in Canada, there was a long-running TV show called The Beachcombers about people who salvaged logs off the beach. A beachcomber is anyone who searches the beach for valuable items. Today we'll talk about people who look for beach trash to make art. I was inspired to research this topic because the 6th International Marine Debris Conference is taking place in San Diego this week, March 12th to 16th, and March is also the month when many North American students head to the beach for spring break. Beach trash is unfortunately an unlimited source of art supplies. It is estimated there is 315 billion pounds of plastic in the oceans. So let's put on some Jack Johnson music and get inspired by stories of beach trash artists. First, I'll start with sculpture artists who work with plastic beach trash. Last month in my shoe episode, I mentioned the sculptures of African animals made by Ocean Soul from flip-flops. Many artists transform beach trash into giant sculptures like Ocean Soul. I saw an exhibit of 17 marine animals at the National Zoo in Washington, D.C. about 2 years ago, made by an organization called Washed Ashore. These pieces have traveled the world to many zoos and museums. Angeline Hazelton Pozzi is the founder and lives in Oregon. It's fascinating how she builds a skeletal structure and then tries out a huge variety of plastic pieces in each spot in order to give the animal a real character. Another artist who makes beach trash into marine animals is Cindy Pease Rowe. Her whale sculptures are about 2 or 3 feet long. She teaches workshops called Up Sculpting, where people make their own whales from beach trash. David Day sculpts marine creatures from beach trash that have been moving parts, like mouths that open or tails that flap when you push on a fin. I watched a video about David's work and I learned something about Australians calling flip-flops thongs, which is fun because in North America, thongs means something quite different. The sculptures of Cindy Pease Rowe, David Day, and Washed Ashore are recognizable marine animals, but many beach art sculptures are abstract. Aurora Robson pieces remind me of photographs of bacteria or viruses under an electron microscope. They are colorful and swirly, and she uses metal rivets to connect the pieces. Next, I'll move on to fiber artists who incorporate beach trash. And you know, fiber art is really my first love. I love a quilt by Susan Lenz called 2 Hours at the Beach, where she sewed a whole bunch of beach trash onto a quilt, basically what she found after looking for trash for 2 hours. I found 3 weavers who each do very different things with beach trash. Jo Atherton from Flotsam Weaving is in the UK, and she weaves tapestries from plastic beach trash. She also makes prints from plastic trash by inking the items she finds and pressing them to fabric. I love that she offers a workshop with school children where she gives them a wire fish shape and they weave in beach trash to make their own little fish. Stephanie Lerner weaves fishing ropes into circular shapes, and they are really beautiful, and they remind me of some weavings I did with plastic bags a few years ago as part of my trash fashion work. Maria Ware weaves baskets from ghost nets. Now, ghost nets are those fishing nets that have come loose and are just floating along the ocean floor catching fish that will never be gathered up by fishermen, and they are very deadly. So it's really cool that Maria actually makes them into something quite beautiful. Next, I'll move on to beach trash photographers. Actually, the very first beach trash artists that I encountered years ago were Judith and Richard Lang. They have been cleaning the same beach in California since 1999. Richard calls it exercises in pattern recognition, which is a phrase I love. They were taking color-coordinated flat lay photos of beach trash long before Instagram made that popular. They became experts in knowing the age of various plastic objects by looking at the designs and colors of the plastic items. Mandy Barker photographs marine debris suspended against a black background as if they are still floating in the ocean. In one photo, she shows objects with teeth marks from marine animals trying to eat them. In another, she puts 500 plastic objects that were found inside a dead albatross's chick's digestive tract. Next, I'll move on to beach trash artists who focus on lumber, cigarettes, and sea glass. This is kind of a catch-all category. I really admire two artists who focus on lumber that they find on the beach. The first is Kirsty Elson in the UK, and second is Beghin-Kircher in the United States. Now, Kirsty makes little beach towns, while Caroline makes mostly fish and other marine life. Both of these artists incorporate other materials in their sculptures as well, such as rusty nails or bits of metal that they find on the beach. And I will share a video in the show notes about how Kirsty puts her pieces together that I actually watch on a regular basis. Some beach trash artists make art from cigarettes. Shelly Marshall made a sea turtle from 1,200 cigarette butts, and then Taylor Lane made a surfboard from 10,000 cigarette butts. I'll embed a video in the show notes that shows how he did it. It's really amazing. Now, many artists work with sea glass. Now, this is made when glass bottles break into pieces and the ocean waves rub the pieces smooth. They're really beautiful. My mom used to teach sea glass jewelry workshops. Now, I don't really think of sea glass as trash because they are not ingested by marine life, but they are a type of object that has been introduced by humans into the oceans. Do you know what colors are the most difficult to find in sea glass? They are orange, turquoise, and red. Now, there are many more artists who work with beach trash, whether that's fiber or wood or photography or plastic. And I pinned a lot of examples on a Pinterest board that you can check out, along with some fun projects that you can get inspired by if you want to make your own beach trash art. But now I'm going to talk about what you could do to address the problem of beach trash. Well, the good news is that people are starting to clue in that single-use plastic is really awful. And in particular, I'm noticing this year that there's a lot of interest in people not taking plastic straws. Incredibly, there are cities and even whole states and provinces that are banning the use of plastic straws. An organization called strawfree.org says that there are 500 million straws thrown out every day in the United States. I am so hopeful that people are learning to forego the use of straws. And I have in my own purse both metal and bamboo straws that work really great. Another tip for reducing beach trash. Now, there's a lot of buckets and shovels on the beach. People forget them at the beach and they get washed out into the ocean. And sometimes when my family goes to the beach, we forget to bring a bucket and shovel. One thing I figured out a few years ago when we were on vacation was that rather than going and buying a new bucket and shovel, we recycled a plastic milk jug. We figured out how to cut the handle of the milk jug to make a little shovel, and we used the base as a bucket. Now, another thing you can do to address beach trash is to join a beach cleanup. Of course, you can clean up beach trash any day, but if you'd like to join a global event, there is an international coastal cleanup annually where people send in data from around the world. This is a great example of citizen science and an opportunity to get your friends out to help clean up. This year, the International Coastal Cleanup will take place on September 15th, 2018. I want to give a shout out to the many Instagrammers who I follow who do regular beach cleanups. Thank you guys. I love seeing this in my feed. This includes Maddie Mae Larson from Upcycle Hawaii. Now, she doesn't make art from her beach trash, but she does make art from a lot of recycled materials, such as old wetsuits, rubber inner tubes, aluminum cans, and fused plastic bags. I love following her work. Another thing you can do if you're interested in beach trash art is to enter a beach trash art contest. In the United States, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, hosts an annual beach trash contest. There's also a contest called Splash Trash that is happening right now, and entries are open until May 1st. And you can also participate in that contest by voting. You just go to splashtrash.org to vote for your favorite entries. If you have a beach trash art contest that happens regularly in your community, I would love to hear about it so I can share that on my website. So please let me know at trashmagination@gmail.com. Finally, the most important thing we can do to address beach trash is to stop using plastic as much as we can. Now, I'm going to teach you a new word, which is nurdle, or Nurdle. Now, this is a common plastic beach trash. It's also called mermaid's tears. They are the raw material from which plastic objects are made. A huge amount of nurdles are in the ocean because they get washed out to sea during the manufacturing and transportation process. They look like fish eggs, so many marine wildlife eat them. As long as we keep buying plastic items, there will be nurdles. So anything we can do to replace plastic with non-plastic, let's do it. One of the artists I mentioned, Richard Lang, said, "The opposite of beauty is not ugly. The opposite of beauty is indifference." Now, there is a phrase that describes my values to a T. I think there is a deep connection between beauty and our ability to live with intentionality. If you have creatively reused beach trash, or if you have a great beach trash story, please let me know at trashmagination@gmail.com. Until next time, may you see beach trash as a source of art in your life.